I'm done trying to live up to others' expectations. Family, society, class, race, sex, or religions. It's time to break free from the isms that make us feel like we're in prison. I'm ready to be unleashed as fuck. I'm ready to be unleashed as fuck. Tired of the madness, done with the sadness. Gonna break free and be unleashed.
Hello, you beautiful, hopeful people. I get my words to work. I'm actually pretty impressed. I just sat down, right? Oh, there's a blur. I had just sat down and I got here on perfect beat because I was singing the song the whole way in. Love our song. We are Unleashed AF. And we're ready to bring you some of the latest lowlights. And thankfully, there are some highlights in our current shiitake for brains government, along with a little hope and ways to hold your ground. Hold your ground. Fight back. What is my problem? Highs and lows and resisting. It's all here today. I was going to say, Jenny, take it away. I still need to introduce myself. I'm Deidre Beecham. Problem today. I'm Deidre Beecham, mentor and catalyst for women who refuse to stay stuck and small. I left a religious cult, came out of the closet, walked away from a 20-year marriage built on nice girl training and patriarchal conditioning. I think a lot of us are very familiar with that. Over 27 months, I rewired my brain. Jenny was part of the process. Reclaimed my power. Now I dare nice girls to unmask their power voice, take up space, and lead like the badasses they are. Jenny, please take it, and I will get a drink of water and try to figure it out.
Do a little extra rewiring of the brain today.
I need a new hypno tape.
There we go.
No.
All right.
No, MP3. Okay, please go.
Yes. Yeah, we're not in tapes anymore. So I'm Jenny Badig, hypno coach and human factors engineer, and I empower people to tap into their subconscious superpowers, only to be used for good, and to help achieve their full potential. And welcome everyone to Unleashed AF, the podcast where we help you own your greatness and unleash your authentic self. If you're enjoying our shows, be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, all those social media verbs. Oh, you're getting very blurry. There we go. You're coming back.
I'm trying to fix it.
Moving too fast for the camera.
Right.
And of course, drop your thoughts, questions, and suggestions in the chat or comments, or you can go to our website at unleashedafpodcast.com and leave a comment or question for us in the WWJDD page, which is What Would Jenny and Deidre Do? We do this podcast for you, and we love hearing from you guys.
In our last episode, we talked about all the shiitake that went down last week. Let's see, there were threats to Social Security, Columbia University caving to Trump's threats, and the signal leak, which another disaster, and then the Washington, D.C. beautification executive order. So if you want to learn more about what that is all about, you can check out last week's episode. It's currently available on YouTube and Facebook, Unleashed AF. I've got to blow my nose, so you need to take it from here for a moment.
Okay. All right. So as we do or have been for the last few weeks, really, we've been monitoring the folks that we feel are presenting the God's honest truth about what's happening in our country right now. And so we pull together the highlights from the week and like to talk through them, grab some video clips to share, and then just kind of comment and have some insightful discussion about how those things can impact our ability to feel like we can live authentically, and how we can unleash ourselves to kind of fight back.
Yeah, and we certainly need that. There's just so much that's been happening. I know so many people have been feeling kind of lost and overwhelmed. You know, what in the world do we do? Especially when things like what happened. Gosh, and was it just yesterday, or was it the day before? Trump's Liberation Day.
I think it was Wednesday.
2 days ago. So it was Wednesday. Yeah. So Trump's Liberation Day, if you're not familiar with what that was the day that he was going to make sure that he evened up all the tariffs, make sure we're tariffing everybody. Let's have reciprocal tariffs everywhere. Liberation Day, yay! Uh, and what happened though was, I don't know if you can see it, but it's somewhere here. I think it was the fifth one. Which one is it?
Fifth one would be the
Yeah.
top one.
Yeah, so the fifth one, that's the one that just happened. So these are the 7 largest Dow Jones net drops in American history. And every single one of them is under Trump. Every single one of them. And this one that just happened is number 5 out of the worst one. The worst one was, of course, COVID. And, so that kind of, you understand that. But,
Right.
This time he is the virus. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
And it says,
yeah, one of the things that is kind of fitting about that to me, or people shouldn't maybe be that surprised, is it kind of goes along with his business record, right? I mean, he's bankrupted most of the businesses that he's run.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, he's claimed bankruptcy, at least 3 times? I'm not sure how many total, but at least 3 times.
But I also know that there's some times when he hasn't had to file bankruptcy, although he should have had to, but he's gotten backed by sometimes people in the U.S., sometimes people not in the U.S.
Yeah. Like
how fortunate for him.
Russia? Yeah.
Russia.
Yeah, that place. But as a result, S&P 500 companies lost a combined $2.4 trillion in stock market value, which is their biggest one-day loss since the coronavirus, which we all stayed home for. So nobody was buying anything. So
yep,
largest one since then.
Yeah, and I've seen a few other videos that talk about, but with people, I think even either independent or potentially conservative financial market experts that have been talking about how the tariffs that he's kind of doing as reciprocal are significantly higher than the tariffs that those countries have on our goods. So he's not reciprocating evenly or equally. He's like multiplying it by some factor of, oh yeah, you're going to tariff us. Well, we're going to tariff you back by 3 times or something like that. And it's just ludicrous.
And I think I heard, I'm going to look it up right now. I don't think there are any tariffs on Russia.
Right. I heard that as well.
I'm just doing a quick check just to be sure, so I don't say something. Yeah. No, Trump did not impose new tariffs on Russia. His recent tariff measures include a 10% baseline tariff on all imports with higher duties to certain countries. However, Russia was notably exempt from these additional tariffs. Of course, their reason for that is the tariff that's there, it's already equal. So we didn't really need to do anything to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know this was a few weeks ago, but I remember when they were talking about the tariffs with Canada and him talking about how, Canada's taking advantage of us because I forget the phrase or the term for it, but the difference between how much we pay for their imports and how much they pay for our imports made it look like they were winning. like we were having to pay more than they were or something like that. But in reality, if you compare it apples to apples, they have a much smaller population than we do. And so, they weren't buying as much of our stuff as we were buying of theirs, but we've got a shit ton more people to be buying stuff. That's why. And that's what I think some people don't understand. They'll hear the headline, tariff, Canada is charging us way more than we're charging. No, that's not. You got to think about where the numbers come from. Statistics can be skewed and used in so many different ways to make it sound like your story is the one to go with.
Yeah. And for people saying, well, we're just talking out of our asses. I took statistics in college. And they tell you that in statistics class.
Mm-hmm.
They tell you that.
Yep.
And the more you learn about statistics from a statistician, the more you realize that what Jenny's saying is the absolute gosh darn truth. I mean, if you
Yep.
look at any statistic, you can always find something that is diametrically opposed to that.
Yep. Yep.
You can make statistics suit any narrative you want.
Correct. Because you can filter out certain parts of the sample size, I guess you'd say, for the statistic without really changing what it's about. So you can make it sound like, oh, this is perfect. We had no problems. Well, if you took out all the things where you had problems.
And even if the statistics are accurate, if you leave other vital information out about that statistic or statistics that help you understand that statistic, you can use it to skew it in a whole nother way. So it's crazy what statistics. So it's really hard to pay attention to too much of that anymore.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that became obvious to me over the years, and this is regardless of which political side you're on, I can't remember the last time that a president didn't claim with statistics that they lowered the unemployment rate. Every president has said they've lowered the unemployment rate ever since I can remember. And surely we still have unemployed people. So that's an example of how you can always manipulate the statistics to make it appear as though I've improved this because I lowered the unemployment rate. Well, in what category? Like what are you including or not including?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You got to dig a little deeper than the surface. Yeah.
So the con continues, and I'm going to let you take the floor on this because you looked this up, but this has to do with Trump's CryptoCon, and the information came from Robert Reich, definitely somebody that we highly recommend.
Yes.
But Jenny, if you want to go ahead and take this, go ahead and take this. I think we're at 19 after already. Holy moly.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is something that I was reading as I was going through some of Robert Reich's posts from this past week. And he has an economic background. So he really knows a lot about how these things work. And he mentioned, and of course, he used to be in the administration, not the Trump administration, but the Clinton administration. He's been in Washington. He knows the players. He knows which departments rule which issues or which things influence Wall Street, et cetera. And so as much as people on the MAGA or just Republican or Trump loving side like to say, oh, but look, he's doing this for the American people. He's not even taking a salary. Au contraire, mon frere. Because
so tell us what Robert uncovered.
Yeah. So what happened that he has pointed out is last October, Trump and his sons created a business called World Liberty Financial, which basically matches different crypto investors so that they can borrow and lend to each other, all in the cryptocurrency world. That company had raised over $500 million so far.
Wow.
And they recently announced that they're launching a type of crypto that is widely used for illicit and terrorist type of activity.
Wow.
So already kind of hands in a dirty mess there. That started back last October before the election even happened.
I expect no less from this family. I really.
So on the eve of the inauguration, the next thing that they did involving cryptocurrency, there were, I guess, meme coins, which are a Bitcoin type of thing, but it's often made like in jest or kind of a funny type of thing of both Donald and Melania. The value on them soared and then crashed. And just on the trading fees or whatever happens with crypto coin, I can't remember what that is called, they made well over $100 million. Yet all the investors, all the people that were purchasing these meme coins ended up losing $2 billion.
Holy moly. Wow.
Like, it's just a grift. It's a scam. So then,
Well, he is the master grifter.
yeah. And, so now Eric and Don Jr., of course, Trump isn't officially a part of that World Liberty Financial situation at this point, since he is president, but his sons still are. And they're now joining forces with the Bitcoin mining company, which, those are the things that are running these huge energy sucking machines to do this Bitcoin mining process. And it's really just another opportunity, because that's where a lot of the big money crypto investors go, is these Bitcoin mining companies.
It sounds like you are talking. It's like you're talking a foreign language, and yet I understand each individual word you're saying.
Right. Right. And I think it's kind of meant to be that way, honestly. They don't want people to really understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But in having that company, that's another way for very rich individuals to support that company or invest in that company, which then potentially curries favor with the dad of the guys that run the company. So, not only he is getting rich off of his access and power at this point, but his entire family is benefiting from these things. And, one of the things that Robert pointed out in his post is that there are many financial and economics wizards, basically people that understand the industry, who have said that cryptocurrencies truly serve no useful purpose other than the purchase of other crypto assets, money laundering, extortion, and scams. So it's not the currency of the future.
And
it's not something you're going to use to buy stuff on Amazon or something.
That's awesome.
And, the other thing, obviously, that he can do as he's in power is put people into positions like the head of the SEC and other financial areas that are friendly to crypto type of work. So they will encourage or takes away some of the restrictions that have been on banks to go the cryptocurrency route. And so as much as we've been concerned about how tariffs are going to affect us in a lot of different ways, this is another thing. If they start to really get banks into the cryptocurrency universe, I would say the security of our money and our financial institutions is going to go down the drain.
Wow.
It's just not a secure form of financial anything of worth.
Wow. But we knew he was a grifter, and certainly anybody that's worked with him knows he's a grifter. New York can't stand him because of how much grifting. Scotland, I don't even think they allow him in their country. Well, he's a felon, so it's not like he's going anywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, wow. But what's crazy about all of this is how much Trump has been able to push his narrative all across the country.
Yep.
And it's just real. It's been, I hate to sound, glib about it, but it's actually been pretty fascinating to watch, and not in a good fascinating. It's kind of like when you drive by a car wreck, and there's so many people that go, holy cow. Yeah, it's kind of like that. It's
or it's like watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I've watched. I know what the Kardashian. I know who the Kardashians are.
They're sort of a virtual train wreck.
Okay, thank you.
You gotta watch. I mean,
thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, they do so many things that people are like, what the fuck? Who do they think they are? Or what are they doing? How do they manage to do that? They don't really do anything. They don't. Yet they have all these oodles of money, and people keep paying them to do shit. So you're just like, how do they? How do they keep going?
It's like Bizarro World. It really, really is. We have entered Bizarro World. It's like all of the. I think I've even said this before. All the movies, the dystopian movies I watched when I was a kid. It's like they're all coming true.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need to just stop watching movies.
Right.
Stop. Especially all you sci-fi dystopian lovers. Stop. Speaking of dystopian, Representative Pat Proctor had a few things to say this week. He is, gosh, where is he the rep out of? Kansas. You just can't make this stuff up. I mean, you just can't. Let's see. This is Representative R. Oh, they're not in alphabetical order, are they? Sorry, I should have looked this up before I started talking about it. Did I not put it? There it is. Okay, here it is. It's a little bit, about a half a minute.
There's like all these like women, like 20 to 30-year-old women who, that you never saw.
Oops, sorry. See, now you're supposed to do that before you push the button. Here we go.
There's like all these like women, like 20 to 30-year-old women who, that you never saw at the polls before. And it's like a long line, and they're all there to vote. And it's just they're stealing it fair and square. And they all came back out because I could see them. You had 700 unaffiliated female voters, 20 to 30, that all came out just to circle in one circle because it was the only question on the ballot. And they all came back out for the general to vote again.
The horror.
Yeah.
The horror. Women came out to vote twice. I mean, they came out for the ballot about abortion, and then they came back to vote again in the general election, stealing the election.
Can't believe it.
We're people too.
I gotta say, I love my favorite part of that clip is where he talks about there was a long line and they were there to vote. I'm like, obviously he's seen the line outside the women's restroom sometimes because we got to stand in line.
I saw a long line and I was like, what are they waiting for? And I went inside. They're voting. Women.
Oh my
voting.
God.
20 to 30-year-olds. And they came back. I
mean, it's scary that even like you would think that any kind of sane person would listen to themselves say that and go, oh, yeah, that didn't sound right. But I really think it just goes right over their heads. They don't even they don't understand what they're saying.
And he used the word steal.
Yeah.
They're stealing the election by voting. I mean, that's not what that word means in relation to voting. You steal by changing records. You steal by losing. You steal by gerrymandering. You steal by losing votes. You steal by keeping people from voting. That's stealing. You steal by
bribing people to vote.
You steal it by bribing people. I'm going to pay you money. Yeah, that's coming up soon. We're going to talk about that. We're going to pay you money. All of that stealing.
Yeah,
all of that stealing. But voting as your right to vote,
as a legal citizen
of the United States, as a woman, as a person. Forget being a woman, as a person that has citizenship in this country. I am allowed to vote.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy, if you're a woman and you vote, you're stealing. These people.
Yeah.
I want to love them. I do. I want to love them, but they make it so hard. They make it so hard.
They do.
So hard. And here, I'm not going to switch gears. I'm going to keep on the same gear. We're going to switch over to the NextDoor thing. We'll go back to the lady. Because I'm kind of in a mood. Okay, so we've got Pat Proctor over here saying all kinds of shit about women, which we should be used to by now, but it still just blows my mind when I hear videos like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then my mind got blown again. I came across this yesterday. I believe it was yesterday. We already know there's ICE raids. If you don't know that, open your eyes. ICE raids are happening. People are being abducted from college campuses. Some people are being abducted right out of their homes. Some people are being abducted out of cars, and they're like one-on attacks. It's just like they go and get one person or two people, and it's, you know, these very strategic. They're taking leaders, people that are leading communities. They are going in and taking people who are organizing people of resistance to what is happening in this country. They are being taken. There are people being taken to other countries. So we know that's happening. But this is next level. This isn't even being requested by the government yet. This is not even being requested. And these little MAGA minions with zero empathy, zero care for people who are not exactly like them. Let's see, where did I put that? What is her name? Oh, NextDoor. Oh, it's in the overlay section. No wonder I can't find it. So here is what was said. Here, let me put this over here like this, and we'll pull this up. I am looking to start a neighborhood watch-like organization to help identify and clearly label members of our community who may be homosexuals or participate in homosexual behavior. I've already had several of my neighbors in person enthusiastically volunteer to join said group, but it would really mean a lot to me if we could get as many people involved as possible. I mean, what have the homosexuals done to this poor lady?
I don't know. I don't, like, is she having dreams or something? I don't know. And I think it's interesting that she said identifying the people who are or possibly. Yeah.
Possibly. So what does she, I mean, I'm making all sorts of leaps here, but obvious to me, it seems so obvious what she's putting a list together for, because she knows that's what's coming next. It's in Project 2025.
Mm-hmm.
You know, LGBT community is targeted next, and I think then Black people are somewhere in the list. We got higher this time for whatever reason, but then we did in Germany too. Before the Jews were taken, the LGBT people were taken as well, and their punishments extended past. Okay, that's a whole nother show. So when the Jewish people released, the LGBT people weren't. Anyway, so what the hell, Jenny? She goes, and if you aren't familiar with NextDoor, if you are watching this and you're like, what the hell's NextDoor? NextDoor is an app that you can put on your phone. It's across the country. It's basically a community type information hub.
Sharing, yeah.
Right? So if there's a robbery in your neighborhood, you can put it on there, let people know, you know, if a trash man did something. I mean, it's kind of, you know, I need a new housekeeper. Do you have somebody? Or, you know, that you can go there and ask questions, get help. But evidently you can also track your local homosexual.
I will tell you, I've seen a lot of Karens on NextDoor. It's sort of, not all people, certainly, just like Facebook. I mean, there's some good things that come out of Facebook, but there's a lot of trolls and stuff on there too. So similarly, it has turned into a lot of people just looking for things to bitch about. Yeah. And then other people climbing on the bandwagon and, yeah, we need to get rid of that. No, why would you want to get it? So it's just another forum to do that kind of stuff. And it's so unfortunate that there's even, I mean, in some ways it's nice because it helps us to see who people really are when they do that. But then you had mentioned, as you showed on that overlay, that clip, he did not block out her name.
No. And I love that, because so often we've been taught to protect the abuser. We have. We do it in this country. We protect rapists. We protect the oppressors. We do. We do. And it's horrible, but we do. And we have to start fighting back. And I love that this guy left her name up. You know, some people are like, well, you know, then you're just leaving her up to attack or to target. What do you think she was doing?
Exactly.
She's targeting. That's exactly what she's doing. And people need to be afraid to be Nazis. I'm sorry, but that's what that is. I mean, that's what Nazis did. I'm just calling a spade a spade. If it looks like a monkey, no, monkey's bad. If it looks like a what? If it looks like an elephant,
is the one I've heard.
Duck. If it looks like thank you. If it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a motherfucking duck.
It's a fucking duck.
It's a fucking duck. So, I appreciate that they didn't block her name out. Not that it matters anymore. People can find people. It's just absolutely amazing. They could have blocked her name out. Somebody still would have found her. But they did find her, and the post has been taken down. But people have been notified who she is, and to be careful around her. And very happy about that. And we need to keep resisting. I think now is a good time to share that video about that lady in Nashville.
Sure.
And so it's when we watch videos here, we don't have the capability with our current software to talk while the video is playing. And this video doesn't have much sound. It's just them carting off a woman. And so we're just going to have like silence for just a few moments as we watch this video. But I want to share, if I can find it. I just had it up a moment ago. I had it all ready for this moment and I can't find it. So we're going to watch it first, and then I'm going to share the information with you, I guess, because I don't have it in front of me. Maybe I do. Oh, no, I do. Hold on. It is. I am wrong.
I see it. Do you want me to hit it?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, it's great.
Stand up.
So this is an 80-year-old woman. I had over on the side a little description of what was happening in the thing, and I couldn't find it. But she was at a meeting, and this was in Tennessee. And it targets undocumented students, this new bill. So the bill would allow school districts to check documentation of students and require undocumented students to pay tuition. Okay. Supporters say it would ease the burden on school districts. Opponents are questioning the motivation of a bill that runs in direct conflict with a 1982 Supreme Court ruling. Some protesters refused to leave. Eventually, they all did, except for this 80-year-old woman. But before that even happened, I didn't know this. I guess somebody hit, the person running the meeting hit the gavel and started kicking everybody out because there was an uproar of protesters, and hit the gavel. And somebody in the audience started singing "Jesus Loves the Little Children," which, yeah, but they are not being loving to little children. And they were trying to get everybody out of the room. Again, the one woman would not get up. And the troopers came over to her and said, if you don't get up, we are going to remove you. And then she refused, and she said, quote, do what you have to do. She was taken to jail, booked on 2 misdemeanor charges, disrupting a meeting and resisting arrest. She was protesting. And here's another person who just said, it's unbelievably sad that our legislators are so calloused and so closed off to the cares and concerns of the communities they're supposed to represent.
Yep.
And yes, that's all true. And one part of me wants to say, good for her. And it is good for her. Good for her for sticking up for her values, for caring about our fellow citizens, for just caring, for having empathy.
Yeah.
But why isn't anybody there why wasn't anybody with her? Why was she the last one sitting there? Why weren't the other protesters like sitting there entrenched with her? Why is only one person being carried out? Why aren't there 5 being carried out? Why aren't there 10 being carried out?
Mm-hmm.
Why did anybody leave?
Right.
They can't arrest all of us.
Yeah.
And we're so used to following directions. Somebody says, you need to leave. And we go, okay. Well, they're going to arrest her. Ooh, what'd she do? If she just listened, she wouldn't have gotten arrested. See, and this is why, and Jenny, you and I were talking about this before the show.
Mm-hmm.
I truly believe this is one of the biggest reasons why Black people will not protest with us. Because of that. Because who's going to get carted away? If Black people start protesting with us again, who is going to get carried off? Black people.
Yep.
It's going to be Black people.
And not even that peacefully.
And not peacefully. They were gentle with her, this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, they would not be gentle with Black people. We've seen it time and time and time again. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And until we start standing up for each other, until we can stand up for a white woman, it's an 80-year-old. I mean, and this just happened, a couple of weeks ago in another city where unmarked troop, at least these people were marked and you knew that they were state patrol or whatever. But these people at this other meeting just picked this woman up to people cheering.
Mm-hmm.
What?
That was at a town hall, I think, right? Like in Iowa
and
or
just
something.
let her
like
get
that.
carted off by a group of men, plain clothes, showing no ID.
Yep.
And just picked her up and put her in a van. What? And nobody stopped them.
Yep.
And she's the only one. We have to be better than this.
Agreed. I mean, if you
without teeth.
Yeah. I mean, and if you really pay attention to that video, it was 3 officers carrying that one lady out. There were like 8 or 10 officers that were there. But imagine if there'd been even 5 people that sat there with her. Not enough officers to carry all of them out like that.
Nope. Well, one by one, but still, you're making it hard for them. We have to make it hard for them.
Yeah.
We have to make. And did you notice? I don't know if you noticed the people standing there just videotaping it.
Yeah.
There's just a row of them behind going, this is horrible. This is horrible. Fucking do something.
Yeah. Well, I will say recording it so that you can post it on social media and share it with people is at least a little bit of something. Not as much as sitting down there with her, but more so than the people that just left and did nothing to even bring it to anyone's attention.
That's absolutely true.
It's like a micro step.
It is a micro step. But until we are willing to put our bodies on the line,
Yep.
we are going to be beside ourselves. We're going to
Yep.
be all by ourselves protesting. Now, there are going to be some people that will come and help, but 92% of the Black women were in solidarity in the last election.
Yep.
We were not, until we are willing to step up and be in solidarity with our sisters. I know some of them need to wake up. I get it. But those of us who are already here, who are already fighting, we need to fight for each other and with each other as well, helping each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have to say about that. But it's frustrating to keep watching, and it's also easy for me to sit here and say that sitting here in my chair. I haven't been in a room where that's happened. Now, speaking of, I mean, we have tomorrow. I mean, I know we're going to talk about this at the end, but April 5th, everybody has a chance to show their resistance.
Yeah.
What's it called again? Hands off.
Mm-hmm.
Like the hands off across America. You can look it up on your computer. Just go into the web and find out where there's a protest near you. I'm sure you can find one. I think there's like 3 within 30 minutes of my house.
Mm. Yeah, the website where you can find them is handsoff2025.com. That's where you can find if there's an actual event near you.
Awesome. Okay, where did I lost my script. Here we go. So I can see where we are. So let's pick up what do you want to do? We probably have time for 2 more.
Well, you want to show the video with Susan Crawford? That was one of the big wins this week, really. So kind of
Oh my God,
going on
this is so cool. We're coming up on the upswing. We always try to leave you on an upswing. Let's bring in the upswing in. So this is Susan Crawford. If you don't know who she is, you will in just a moment. Well, I'm going to try and do this right this time. Boom and boom.
Someone who watches out for people. But I've got to tell you, as a little girl growing up in Chippewa Falls, I never could have imagined that I'd be taking on the richest man in the world. For justice in Wisconsin. And we won.
Oops. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a big win.
Yeah, so how much did Elon... Now, Elon spent an exorbitant amount of money. How much money did he spend on this? I think it was like 25 million. Is that about right?
At least, yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, so spent at least 25 million to beat her. And put up billboards all around Wisconsin saying a vote for Trump is a vote, or a vote for this guy, whoever her opponent was.
I remember his name.
A vote for this guy. We don't need to know his name. The vote for the Republican is a vote for Trump. And so Wisconsin came back and said, yeah, we're good. We are good. We are good. And with Elon spending 25 million in that state and people knowing that he was the one putting these billboards up and spending all the money up there, he advertised it quite a bit. It's also a referendum against Elon, I think. I mean, don't you kind of think that? Yeah. I mean, just by association.
Absolutely. And I think, another thing that I'm not sure MAGA or Republican people recognize is there were 2 seats in Florida that were up for election that could have potentially switched the balance of the Senate, I believe. The Republicans didn't have a majority. And Elon was not getting all excited about putting a lot of money into those elections and not trying to, like, I didn't see any, I mean, I'm in Florida. I didn't see ads, saw plenty of ads for the election that was closest to me, but didn't see him involved in anything. Only saw that Randy Fine, the Republican candidate, his ads would talk about how Trump backed him and stuff like that, but nothing that had anything to do with Elon was in the advertisements or in the news, really. And if Elon was really interested in things government-wise or the country as a whole and thinking that Republican stronghold is important, that would have been more where he would be pushing his money. But there happens to be a case in Wisconsin that's going to be heard by the Supreme Court that has something to do with one of his companies. So that seemed to be more his motivating factor as to why it was so critically important that the Democratic leaning.
Well, it is a Supreme Court seat for that state. So,
yeah. I mean,
wow.
when's the last time you heard people getting all excited about a Supreme Court within a state?
Within a state. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
he must stand to lose a lot more than $25 million. I mean, this must be huge. Whatever it is that he thinks he could lose.
Yep.
Wow.
Absolutely. And so it's nice to see that already we didn't have to wait for the midterms to see that people are already voting the opposite way. They're having that kind of initial feedback of, oh, wait a minute, this was not how we wanted to go. Let's go the other direction. Let's
not what I thought was going to happen.
And have the wave go the other way. Which is nice.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. Let's go ahead and do, we talk about that there are people that we like to follow. This is somebody that we both found out independently from each other that we both like to follow. She's fantastic. She's been on the news now as well, sitting right up there with the big girls and boys on TV. She's been on some panels. She calls herself Politics Girl. And she has an interesting take on what everything that is happening right now and a reminder of how important our Constitution is and defending our Constitution. And so let's go ahead and put Politics Girl up here. Thank you for doing that. And I think it's this one.
So looking around, I feel like now might be a good time for a little civics lesson. The president's power comes from the Constitution. Congress's power comes from the Constitution. Our judges' power comes from the Constitution. Much like money only has worth because we collectively agree it has worth, these American representatives only have power because we collectively agree they have power. Every single one of these people pledges an oath to uphold the Constitution, the document that gives the citizens their rights and the leaders their power. However, if the leaders negate the power of the Constitution, if they choose to ignore it, like Trump claiming to have power to overturn Article 1 that gives Congress authority over spending, or Article 2, which gives Trump's predecessor Joe Biden pardon power, or Article 3 when the Trump administration defies federal court orders, then we have a big problem and we're left with a big question. If you throw out the very thing that gives you power, do you still have power? Did you see Avengers Endgame? Nothing would have happened when Thanos snapped his fingers if he had just given away those Infinity Stones. They were the source of his power. So if you rip up the Constitution, then you are ripping up the very source of your own power. Because if the Constitution doesn't matter, then why do you? If we are arresting protesters or claiming news networks who don't praise the leader are illegal, then there's no First Amendment. If we're depriving people of due process and shipping them off to camps without trial, the Fifth Amendment is done. What is the 14th Amendment if we reject birthright citizenship? You can't just pick and choose which parts of the Constitution to follow. It's all or nothing. If you want to change things, there is a constitutionally acceptable way to do that, but you have to do it by the rules. Simply ignoring the rules doesn't work, not if you want people to follow you based on those rules. You know who else pledges an oath to the Constitution? The military. The military pledges to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and bear faith and allegiance to the same. Yes, they also promise to obey the president, but that comes after their promise to the Constitution, because the Constitution is more important and powerful than any one leader, which is why military officers don't even have the president in their oath. They don't swear anything to the president. Their oath is only to the Constitution. So if a president chooses to destroy the Constitution and attack the rights it affords its citizens, then it is the military's responsibility to step up and defend it. Now, those are just the facts, but I think it's something important to know as we move forward.
Oops, I can't fix it. What the heck is happening? There we go. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, she's fantastic. Politics girl. She's makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
A lot of sense. And I know you and I were talking beforehand that the only way that this can go forward is if we let them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing that really struck me about that video when I saw it earlier was when she talks about you can't just pick bits and pieces of the Constitution that you want to abide by and throw the rest away. I thought, what's another
sounds like that
document that people tend to do that with? Starts with a B, ends with an E, and has an ibble in the middle.
Wow, I don't know. It escapes me.
And that's called privilege.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
When you
it
think that
absolutely
you
is.
only have to abide by certain rules or laws and can ignore the others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
privilege.
what we're dealing with here.
Wow. Yeah.
And I just hope that, especially since the signal leak, that whole debacle, which should have lit a fucking fire under some of the military leaders, that's not acceptable and dangerous to their own people.
Yeah.
That's something that's being talked about amongst the military leaders.
I think that is very true. I follow a couple of people. They're ex-military, but they had, rank in the military, and they have said the same thing, that this is a pivotal moment. That there are people that would have been supporting Trump, where that was just a moment where they're like, nope, that's too far. That is way too far, and it's a shame that it takes that long. But I'm grateful that it hit them. That's fantastic. But yeah, it's just nuts, that whole signal thing.
Yeah.
But another thing that has shaken up some people. I know that there were a lot of people that were responding to. I'm going to let you announce his name, because that's
Cory fucking Booker.
That's it, Cory fucking Booker, the original CFB himself. I think. Totally not a thing.
Oh shit,
Cory. Wow. If you don't know what Cory Booker did, you don't have to be involved in politics. You don't have to know about politics at all, which if you don't know anything about politics right now, shame on you, because we are talking about the end of our democracy if you don't start caring about politics. But Cory Booker, what did he do, Jenny? What did Cory Booker do?
Cory Booker, who is, I believe, the senator from New Jersey, and has been there for years. He's not a brand new one, but he's not of the old guard either. So he's kind of, I think, in the middle ground there. He didn't just at the drop of a hat end up staying on the podium for a long time, but he planned in advance, because he didn't even take a bathroom break for the 25 hours and 5 minutes.
25 hours. Can you imagine how many pee breaks I go on? Well, you see, I'm constantly drinking water when I'm sitting here. So he said, because they asked him, how did you do this for 25 hours without going to the bathroom? He's like, I planned. I ate very little. I didn't drink. I mean, he planned this out in advance to make sure that
very
he could
deliberate.
do this.
This wasn't just some crazy person saying, I'm not going anywhere. You can't make me go anywhere. I'm going to stay here and just, block the vote or whatever. Filibuster is technically what it's called. But yeah, he started around 7 p.m., I think, one night, and ended after 8 p.m. the following night. continued to speak the entire time. He wasn't just rambling the whole time or
No.
making a show of it. He had a written speech that he did, and then he started reading the letters and things like that from constituents about their concerns. So it's, there's several really cool things about what he did. First of all, it's probably, other than the fact that there's a couple of them that are going out and doing town halls in Republican districts where Republicans won't do town halls anymore. That I think is a good thing that finally some Democratic government people are doing.
Yeah.
This is a good thing because it's the first time that actually in Washington, a Democratic congressman, I'll say, from either House or the Senate, has actually done something to try to disrupt the normal, form of business there. So by standing and having the podium and having the time to himself, no other business is going on in that chamber at that time while he's got the podium. So another cool thing about him setting the record is that the record that he broke was set by Strom Thurmond when he was protesting the Civil Rights Act.
Yeah.
And so now a black senator breaks the record of someone who was protesting.
That's so beautiful.
Right.
Somebody that wouldn't have allowed him in the chamber.
Right.
Is there breaking his record. So his record is no longer going to come up when somebody says, hey, who's done the longest filibuster? Cory motherfucking Booker.
Yes. CMFB.
2025.
Yes.
The original CFB. Again, means nothing. But, wait, I do have a few videos from that. Hang on, let me see what we have pulled up here, because this was just so cool. This was when he found out.
Would the senator yield for a question?
Chuck Schumer, it's the only time in my life I can tell you no.
I just want to tell you a question. Do you know you have just broken the record? Do you know how proud this caucus is of you? Do you know how proud America is of you?
That's beautiful. I have another one here.
I rise with the intention of disrupting the normal business of the United States Senate for as long as I am physically able. I ask you, are you better off than you were 72 days ago economically? I ask that question. Ask it to your friends. Are they better off economically? Well, I don't see how they could be, because prices are up, stock market's down, the risk of recession is climbing, consumer confidence is in the gutter. You don't protect the future by punishing the people who built this country. You don't fix America by throwing seniors or veterans or Americans with disabilities under the bus. That's not how we do things. That's not how we should do things.
It goes on. It's 9 minutes, 10 minutes long. It's a really great clip, but it gives the highlights for the 25 hours. So we'll make sure we get that up on our Facebook page, so you can see that if you'd like. I thought I had another one. Oh yeah, here's one more. I like this one as well. Oh, thank you.
Inflation is up. Consumer confidence is down. This is what the voices we brought into this chamber, the voices of our constituents, red states, blue states, the voices of Democrats and Republicans, Republican governors, Democratic governors. We brought all the people that are saying, no, this is a moral moment, not left or right, right or wrong. And so I've tried.
I love that. It's not left or right. It's right or wrong.
Yeah. And he, there was a clip that I saw also where he was reading something that a constituent had written in, I'm assuming in a letter or something, or maybe an email, where she was talking about her concerns over Social Security because her father had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease earlier, years ago, and relied heavily on Social Security and Medicare for his treatments and whatever kind of care he needed. And Cory was, like breaking up over that because his own father had had Parkinson's disease. So he fully understood the challenges and the needs that come into play for things like that. And so I love that he was truly giving a voice to the constituents. And we've talked about the 5 Calls app and ways that you can contact your government officials to let them know what you're concerned about. And here's an example. You may think that they all just fall on deaf ears, and sometimes I'm sure they do, but they're not going to know unless you do write in, unless you do.
Yeah, and look, it actually got read on the Senate floor.
Yep. Yeah, and I also saw several clips of people that were like taking their kids out of school to go watch Cory Booker, because there's a public viewing hall for the chamber. And that's part of why you heard all the applause and stuff like that when Chuck Schumer let him know that he had broken the record. People were wanting to see this piece of history. They were so proud.
Yeah, it absolutely is a piece of history. I mean, think about it. This hasn't been broken since the Strom Thurmond protesting civil rights. And it made a difference. I truly believe that there are people that Democrats and Republicans alike. And I know I'm in the camp as well. We're just like somebody besides AOC and Jasmine Crockett and Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren.
Yep.
Besides those, I mean, that's great. Love that they're doing that. Love what they're doing. It's awesome. But that's just that's a handful of people. We just want to see that what we've elected you to do, that you're going to fucking do something.
Yep.
And it was like, finally, somebody did something.
Yes.
Now, did it accomplish much? I don't know, but I'll tell you what it did accomplish is what you said. No bills went through. Nothing else was talked about. He was able to bring issues up that we're all concerned about, that we're all worried about. And he brought it to the forefront, and he stood his ground and spoke.
Yeah.
And we need to see more backbone. And I've seen people go, yeah, Cory, I hadn't really thought too much about him, but let's look at him for president. I mean, it was just like, okay, what is happening? So it's a lot. And there are people that were Democrats that were like, this is so frustrating. And they're going, all right, okay. And the same thing with Republicans going, okay, all right. Those that are like, we see what's happening and we don't want our country gone. We want our democracy. We want this to keep going forward. And so they're going, good, finally. Yeah. And even I think on the last vote, weren't there nine Republicans that sided with the Democrats and stopped Mike Johnson moving forward with what he wanted to do? So,
yep. Yeah, it is starting to shift, which is great. It does show like a ray of hope, or potentially even a light at the end of the tunnel, that we can overcome this without thinking, we got to wait until midterms or 4 years from now.
And I don't think we can. I don't think we can afford to.
Nope.
Things are moving too fast. We cannot afford to just sit down and go, well, we can see what we can do in midterms. All I have to do is hang on for 4 years. Hang on. What the hell?
Yeah.
At this rate, half the country will be dead in 4 years if we don't do something. And I know it sounds like hyperbole, but it's crazy. So get out and do something. We are losing rights faster than it's fathomable. And tomorrow is a great day to do it. If you're available, please be careful. I have heard various warnings to be careful. If somebody is trying to incite you to do some violence, realize that is probably a plant. Well, do not pick up any bricks. Evidently, at various locations all around the country, what they like to do is put bricks set up at different sites where they know that people are going to be protesting, to encourage you to use bricks to again, destroy structures, don't do any of that stuff. Just get out there and protest, and Don't let your brothers and sister be dragged away by the police. Stop that. Fight it. Fight it. Does it mean you're going to go to jail too? Yeah. But if you don't go to jail now, what's going to happen to our country if we don't stand up for each other?
Right.
What if it's you? What if it's you they're carting off?
Well, and if you think about it, this is an opportunity to do that in a way that you can kind of have some pre-planning about it, right? You can let people know, hey, I'm going to this thing tomorrow. There's a possibility, like, I'm not willing to give up my ground. And if they're going to take me to jail, you may be my one call. So be ready to come down. This is the bail company I want to use or whatever. This is the bond company. Like, you can make this so that it isn't even really all that painful. You can prepare yourself versus the alternative of not stepping up or, protesting in this way and allowing things to keep going the way they're going. And you may get snatched out of the middle of nowhere with no planning and nobody knowing. And I'll even tell you, there's a friend of mine who is from Venezuela and has been here for, probably 20 years. I'm not sure what his citizenship status is, but he had posted on Facebook recently that he took his family, like he and his wife and 2 daughters, they went to Central America or South America somewhere. And I thought, ooh, this may not be a great time for you to go leave the country, then try to come back. Because that's where they've been snatching a lot of people as they've been trying to come back into the country. And I'll tell you, the last time I saw a post on his Facebook was March 15th. I'm not sure he was allowed back in the country.
Wow.
I'm not, I really don't know.
Yeah. And there are a lot of stories like this, guys. It's not, these aren't one-off stories. There are a lot of these stories. Yeah. And if we keep just allowing it to happen, if we don't fight back, it's going to keep happening. Yeah. So there is hope. This is not all doom and gloom. There is hope. There's just got to do stuff. Yeah. So again,
one of the things I wanted to say about what Cory Booker did. I'm sorry, Cory fucking Booker. He was one person, like we were saying, with the lady that got removed from the Tennessee chamber or whatever. Mm-hmm. He was one person that stood up and did that. I'm glad he did, but where was the next Democrat to take his place? I don't know what the rules are on the chamber floor. If after a Democrat speaks, a Republican gets a chance. I'm not sure if they have to trade off or whatever, but they wouldn't have to each one set a record, even if each of them did a shift of 8 hours or something like that, and just continue to disrupt what's happening. It can be done. And so in some ways it's like, come on, people, he set an example and you don't even have to go to the extreme that he went to make a difference. That made a 1 day's worth of difference, as it turns out, because it was only really 1 day of actual business on the floor that he disrupted. But why can't the next senator and then the next senator and then the next senator do the same thing?
Yeah.
So similarly,
I don't know what the rules are as well, but yeah, it's exactly think outside the box. What is it that you can do? I've seen artistry where people are using artistry. I saw this gorgeous shirt and it looked like flowers, and if you got really close you could see that all the flowers, the outline of each flower was actually script, and it says "fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald Trump, fuck Donald." You wouldn't know it. It's gorgeous. It's not until you get close, but it's her form of resistance. Yeah. I know I'm sitting here going, go out tomorrow. Not everybody can. I understand that, but what can you do? Right. This little 80-year-old lady sat down on a bench and said, do what you need to. I'm not moving. And it just, to me, that was so heartwarming. I'm sorry that she went to jail. I'm glad that she's out. But how heartwarming is that? This woman was willing to do that, to go, do what you have to. This is wrong. And that's what we need to be doing. Yeah. Do what you need to. This is wrong. Enough of us stand up. They can't get all of us. Eventually they'll see there's more of us than there are of them.
Right. And the other point about her was she wasn't standing up for something that was directly affecting her.
Had nothing to do with her.
She's 80 years old. She's not going to school.
Yep.
But she was standing up for them and holding her ground, which is what we as white people need to start doing.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. So, what else do we have here? We have anything else? We've got the handsoff2025.com for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You can also go to 5050.one. I mean, it's everywhere. All you have to do is just look up. You can really just say protests near me, April 5th. You probably get to what you need to. We also have the Walmart blackout coming up. That's next week.
Yep.
Correct. 7th through the 13th.
Yep.
And the next big blackout after that is until the 18th. So I think we're good. Is there anything else that I miss? We talked about the 5calls.org. I think we're good.
Yeah, I think that covers it.
Awesome. So if you enjoyed today's episode, subscribe, follow, share, do the things. If you have a topic or question, or if you want to be a guest, please visit our website at unleashedafpodcast.com. Visit WWJDD while you're there, which is What Would Jenny and Deidre Do? It's a page on the website. We'd love to hear from you, and we appreciate you being here with us. All right. So until next time, another crazy, blah, blah.
You were doing so good.
I was doing so well. It's like the beginning and the end. My brain's just like, I don't want to work anymore. But I thank you so much for being here with us. As always, we are just here to try and help get you unleashed AF.
That's right.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, you take care. Next week. Bye.
See y'all.
I'm done trying to live up to others' expectations. Family, society, class, race, sex, or religions. It's time to break free from the isms that make us feel